I'm gonna hit you so hard you won't see nothing. Ever, 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 ever.
Audio skulls all day.
The lyric scientist lab.
What the fuck are you?
Wait, are we live?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, shit.
Jesus
Normally you do
Christ.
the... Oh, my God. I'm messing up. Hold on.
I thought you were in the thing because we were going for it.
Yeah, no. I'm messing up, folks. I apologize. I'm not on my shit, as they like to say.
No, you own that shit.
And
That's
I
what
am
it is.
on that shit. And ladies and gentlemen, so since I'm on that shit, I guess it's my right and responsibility.
You don't have to tell them what you're doing.
I don't, but they'll probably see it, and they'll probably know about halfway through the show.
Yeah, but you don't have to make it obvious if they'll see it.
This is true. But
Don't. Just open the show.
and
please.
it's opening big, and it's opening wide because we are 221 episodes deep into the Mad Scientist Lab podcast. As always, it is I, RJ, the pizza guy, along with Jared, the visual mad scientist, and we are here to bring you another weekly episodic episode of the greatest podcast in North America and soon to be the world. And yes, you guessed it right, folks. Cuba. It's got to happen, bro.
No, the Cuba thing is fine. I don't like the episodic episode. I think that's fucking
I know.
stupid.
It's dumb because the reason I say that is because if you watch, very briefly, if you ever were to watch a Monday Night Raw or any type of, well, mostly Raw, they will say the longest running weekly episodic show of all time, blah, blah, blah.
That's where you get it from.
Yeah, so I know it sounds corny, and that's kind of the point.
No wonder it sounds corny.
Well, I mean, it's professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is an art, man.
It's corny.
It's probably something that
It's the corn dog of all corn dog things you could cornball do.
I mean, not really.
A cornball.
I think not bowling.
Okay,
but
bowling's not a cornball thing.
I like bowling.
Bowling is a fun recreational thing that you can do with your friends. You can have a couple beers. You could fucking talk shit. Can't really do that with wrestling. You just fucking sit there and fucking watch a bunch of dudes roll around on each other. I mean, not far from. Well, I mean, jiu-jitsu is a bunch of people roll, and MMA, but at least they're actually trying to hurt the other person.
Yeah, but these guys are trying to entertain us, and as somebody who is obviously
MMA's pretty entertaining,
it is entertaining. I won't lie to you.
and they're not trying to entertain; they are entertaining.
Well, as the casual, MMA guy here on
cornball,
the show,
as a casual cornball.
See that's the problem with the world now. That's the problem because I don't follow UFC. Jared's like, oh, yep,
I don't.
male.
I barely
Yeah.
follow it. I barely follow it myself anymore. To be honest, there's a fight tonight. I don't fucking know who's on the main card.
Do you think it's due to and I
It's
could be
oversaturated.
It's
That's
oversaturated.
why I don't follow it anymore.
And do you think it's due to lack of maybe star power too? Because I know years ago there were so many big names.
First of all, no. First of all, I'm not going to even say that because there are still stars there. It's not the ones who cross over into the other world, or they're not your. Like the reason Chuck Liddell was known is because he was knocking motherfuckers out.
Yeah.
His name's the Iceman.
Yeah.
The reason fucking GSP was because he was dominant. Like he was a fucking champ for like 10 years. Like that's an insane amount of time to be a champ. Because look at Izzy. He was one of the most dominant strikers in all of combat sports, not just the UFC. And then lost his title, got it back, and then lost it again. And less than 3-4 years maybe. So to be on top. Same thing with Anderson Silva. I was about to say Anderson Cooper for some reason.
Yeah.
But same thing with him, like dominant for 10 plus years. Like you're not doing that today. You know what I'm saying? Like I just think at that time, not everybody was super well versed in everything.
Okay.
Now MMA is mixed martial arts. Like you learn everything for the sport.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Like I'm not like
you
some
touch
people
every base. It's like learning the fundamentals.
No. Because I guess what I'm trying to say is like a lot of people back in the day, and it's still true to a certain extent depending on who it is. But you come up with your discipline. Say mine was jiu-jitsu. You have your discipline that you're like the best at. And that's what happens. Like when you get tired, what happens is you fall back on your discipline. Same thing with wrestlers. Like you had Matt Hughes, you had Robbie Lawler, even GSP later on. He became a great wrestler. Like every time when they get tired, if you watch a long match, when they get tired, they revert back to their thing. So like if it's been standing the whole time and they're tired, they're gonna start trying to shoot to get the guy on the ground.
Yeah.
But if you're going against a striker who's been striking, that's his base is straight up fucking punching and kicking motherfuckers in the head. Like that's you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's trying to take him out of his comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nowadays though, is everybody's training everything equal amounts. So it makes it more intriguing for the more technical people who know what's going on, I think, because there is a lot of technique, but then when I think it gets lost on the casual fan how technical and what it takes to get to certain positions and whether they're not, and like, because some people just want to see motherfuckers get knocked out.
Yeah, it's the shock value of it, I guess,
and the entertainment part of it, because that's what the casual fan tunes into. They want to see somebody getting knocked out, but again, it's mixed martial arts. It's not just striking. It's submissions. It's arm locks. It's all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the way I look at it. Kind of, it maybe in a similar manner of somebody, and this is just a very small comparison of somebody who watches NASCAR, but they say, "Hey, I only watch NASCAR because I want to see the wrecks and I want to see the hype aspect of it." I guess
I would say even today, and even the one we went to, I don't think there's as many wrecks as there, because that was the thing back in the day. There was a lot of wrecks, and like it would take out entire fields of cars. Now it's not. I don't think it's as
prevalent.
Yeah.
Do you think that's because of the advancement in just technology when it comes to, or engineering, I should say, when it comes to vehicles, or just the people driving?
I think the driving has probably gotten better because technology can improve, but there's still specifications that they have to stay within. Like that's any motor racing. Yeah. Like as long as it's organized and there's like a governing body over it, like F1 they have the FIA. Mm-hmm. Anybody, as long as they have that government, they set the rules, and the teams have to follow those rules. So you can't just put like one car can't have fucking 300 horsepower more than the next car.
It's got to be a level playing field.
Yeah. So I think the driving has just gotten better. I mean, maybe technology may have a part in it. Maybe acceleration and braking is more precise.
Yeah.
That could be part of it. I don't know, but I don't watch NASCAR enough to know. F1, I watch a lot. There are wrecks. Both those are mostly at the beginning of the race when they first starting out, because they're all close and they're trying to jockey for position to get in front of the other guy, and like then a turn comes up and it's like, oh shit, I'm too close, and then somebody's front wing gets knocked off and punctures somebody else's tire, and then he got a pit, and then but it's not as like, it's not going to happen like I would say a NASCAR race is.
Yeah, no. So when it comes to the casual aspect, I guess, of F1, do you think obviously it's going to be different because NASCAR, like you said back in the day, it's like about the races or the wrecks, and while the race is going on.
And I think there was a lot more cars back in the day too.
Yeah.
Now racing is very expensive. And same thing with F1, because they can even nowadays. There's only 10 teams right now, and a couple other teams were trying to get in. Like, I think Audi may come in 2026, and fucking Andretti Cadillac was supposed to be in, but fucking they weren't going to let another American team in. There's only one American team, and they're trash. But I think they were afraid F1, not FIA. The FIA let them in. They said they could come in, but the F1, that staff was like, no, Andretti Cadillac can't come in. I think it's because they were afraid that they might do better, like right away. And they didn't want an American team to be doing better than some of the other teams.
Could see that being a thing, but let me ask you, in terms of like, I guess a casual factor, what do you think it is that draws people to F1 that are people like myself who have do you think it's a star power or just it's a global aspect to it as well?
Yes and no. Well, yes and yes, I should say. But the reason there's a star power now is because, and I talked about this before, is because the Netflix series Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
As soon as that came on, like, what it did was give personality to these people to an audience who would have never even thought about watching F1. But now they're like, oh, I like this team principal, which is like the head coach of the team.
Yeah, no, I got you.
This team, I'm just saying it for people who might not. This team principal is better. I like him better. And there was one that just got fired that everybody loved, Gunther Steiner. He was actually Team Haas, which is the American team, but he just got fired because they were shitty.
Yeah, underperforming. So yeah, I got you.
But yeah, the Netflix special for sure, and especially more, I would say the U.S., probably Canada, maybe even Mexico, to be honest, but more like North America. It brought a lot more North America. That's why we started getting so many fucking races here. Now we have 3 races here now.
Yeah.
What is it? Miami, Vegas, and Austin.
Yeah, and I know the Vegas race. I know you obviously went to the one in Austin.
Yep.
And the one in Vegas, I know that you were really excited about because of just because I know they do it on the Vegas Strip or in that general vicinity.
Yeah, it was a huge fucking track too.
So I think from a casual perspective, if I were going to be drawn into any of them, looking on paper, it would totally be Vegas. It's like, oh, hey man, you're in the gambling capital of the country, if not maybe the world. And
nah, I think from a spectator point of view, you probably rather go to like COTA, which is Austin.
Yeah,
Miami it's a street circuit too, so like finding a place, unless you're paying for the grandstands, finding a place to watch it is I mean, although I was at the grandstands in COTA too, but there's plenty of places you can sit around the track if you just want to bring a chair and a fucking umbrella and just fucking sit out there and watch it from there.
Yeah.
And it's always been like, that's why it's called the Circuit of the Americas, because it's just a place. Like when you fly in, you can see the motherfucker from.
Oh, that's pretty cool though. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
So yeah, I would say for your first time going to one, and even me, like that was my first time, and I would go to other ones. Like there's some overseas that I want to go to, but I may not want to spend that money.
Yeah,
you know? Like it's going to Monaco, which is like the number one of all of them. Would probably is. And we've got friends who've been to that one. Well, I don't know. I just if I can go to if I wanted to go to 3 races a year, I could just go here. Shit, I could go. There's one in Canada. I could go to Canada, or there's one in Mexico. I could go to Mexico.
It's more accessible to you just being obviously in the States. Whether you're going down to Mexico
or North America
or North America in general. So no, but I would feel the same way too as a fan. It's like, hey, I want to go to this race, but I'd have to, spend X amount of dollars.
Yeah, like there's races in like fucking not Dakar, like Dubai, and I mean, yeah, I want to visit Dubai, but a lot of those places to me, man, are just a little restrictive for like Bahrain.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah,
but I'm trying to drink.
Yeah, I get you.
I'm trying. I might want to fucking smoke some weed. You do that, I'm doing fucking 10 years in jail over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is pretty wild. The world does not work the way you guys think it does, unless you've kind of been abroad.
As much as people want well, as much as Americans talk shit about America, you know how much the world talks shit about America, but you don't realize it until you're here. How much we are actually freer than a lot of other places. Of course, it could be freer, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah. No, but it's funny you say that. I was actually having a conversation with my sister last night while we were watching TV, and I do remember kind of halfway through the conversation, we started talking about like geography, for lack of a better, visiting places, seeing different parts of the world. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, Jared's, since you military and all that, I said, you've been able to see parts of the world that obviously I haven't seen yet, in terms of Japan.
Only Japan.
Yeah, but I just mean just as a whole being kind of encased in where you grow up.
Although I've been over a lot of Japan, like I was in Okinawa, which is not really Japan. It's supposed to be its own island or country, or I don't think they call it a country, but that's like an island like way south of like mainland, not way south, but southern part of mainland. Like it takes 2 days by a catamaran to get there, to get to mainland. Been to Tokyo, Fuji, but I was in Fuji for like months, but Fuji's maybe an hour and a half. It's like driving, getting to Tokyo from Fuji is like an hour and a half. So it's like going to Richmond.
Yeah.
And then I've also been to Hokkaido, which is the northern. So if you look at imagine a map of Japan.
Yeah.
Japan.
You
got the big island at the top. That's Hokkaido. It's cold up there. It gets cold in the winter. That's like their Wisconsin.
All right.
Then you have the middle part, which is kind of more like our stuff. And then as you go farther south, it gets warmer and warmer.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, they kind of have close to the same climate that we have.
I got you.
Except Hokkaido is pretty far north. Like, it's like really close to Russia.
Yeah.
Like, you can go to Russia from Hokkaido.
And that's, again, the top of Japan, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. No, the reason I had brought it up is because my sister and myself were watching, or I should say I was rewatching with her because she's never finished it, the very first season of True Detective, which for anybody who's lived under a rock, I would highly recommend checking out. But in the first season, it takes place in the Deep South in Louisiana, down at the bayous where there's nothing but swamps, and it's got a very
where the gators at.
Yeah, where religion is very prominent in everybody's lives. And my sister,
that's the South.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And
Southern Baptist.
And it's funny you say that. I was actually telling my sister, like any type of Southern hymn or religious song that's got some just rawness to it, I fuck with it, like super heavy.
Okay, whatever that means.
No, but the whole conversation came up. She was like, "Oh man, I couldn't imagine what it's like living in different, parts of the world." And I was like, "Well, shit." I was like, "Jared's over here all the time." I said, he's been to California, Texas, Japan. He's seen different part, and that's kind of how that conversation arose.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like this is one of the things that people talk shit about Americans about is the fact that we don't go to other countries to see everything. It's like, everything. They think we're all about, it's all America. And I was talking about this to somebody recently. Like, we're all about America. Yeah, we are. But you got to remember, when you're in Europe, I could drive an hour and be in another country, and then drive another hour the other direction and be in another country, and then drive another hour in the other direction and be in another country. However that math works. But here, that's how we are with states.
Yeah.
I could drive. Shit, around here, I remember when I was in California, people would be like, "Oh, you can be in another state within like 10 minutes." Yeah,
yeah. I mean, we are in probably the most accessible.
No, because you got the tri-state area, which is like New York, Connecticut, and Jersey, I think.
Yeah. Okay. One of them, respectfully, but yeah, from where we are in the DC region, we can go. We can go anywhere. We're like that middle portion of Japan. Like we're talking about, you can go up, you can go down. You can definitely go over to the side because we're on the eastern coast, and you have the rest of the country and stuff.
But people don't realize, like in Europe, you would travel short distances to get other places. For us, this country's so goddamn big. We could, like Texas by itself, if you go through the wide part, it could take you fucking a day to get through the whole fucking state of Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
Just driving.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's 8 or 9 hours or something like that.
I mean, that's
maybe not a whole day, but that's a whole day of driving. That's like a work day.
That's a lot of driving. I've been on a couple of road trips in my life to where they've exceeded a double-digit marker.
Oh, fucking going down, driving to Atlanta, driving to Florida. I've done those trips before.
I believe it or not, I have as well.
Yeah, you've done the Florida one. So like, I guess my point is, I just think people need to stop imagining or I can't imagine. That's what her words is like. No, start imagining and start doing, because if not, you're just going to be limited to what this little piece of the world. I don't know. I can't imagine not seeing more of the world and trying to see as much as I can, because we don't have a lot of time. And I don't know, man. It's just that you got to go see shit. I 100% believe that. You're missing out on a lot of shit if you don't fucking, if it's once a year, go somewhere you've never been. Like, I don't know, man. I just can't imagine not wanting to go somewhere.
I got you.
That's just me, though.
No, but it's therapeutic. It's good, and the reason I say that, and I know I'm going to sound like a huge hypocrite, obviously.
It gives you a different appreciation for people, also.
And I think that's kind of where I was going with it,
because a lot of times, and I don't mean to cut you off. But
no, you're good, dude.
Like,
no,
now
no
I got this stream of consciousness going. A lot of people will make it seem like because we're so into our screens all the time, and all we're seeing is what is on these screens, and you're just getting whatever is funneled to you through whatever the algorithm is.
Yeah.
Whatever algorithm you got. Like TikTok is the best example, because it's so sensitive to whatever you click or pause or whatever. It's going to keep feeding you that stuff because it thinks you're interested in that stuff. But to a point, you're getting it filtered down into something that's not reality. And I think by people not going places, they don't realize that there are other ways of thinking. And there's nothing wrong with the way people having other ways of thinking. But if you go to where they are, you might understand why they think that way.
Yeah.
You know
It's all about your what is the word I'm looking for? Environment.
Perspective.
Yeah, your environment, what you grow up in, what you're accustomed to, in your surroundings,
Nature versus nurture,
and things of that nature. So, no, I do agree with that, even if I sound a little hypocritical about it.
And I'm sounding preachy about travel, but like, man, you got to go places. Like, I'm sorry.
No, and I wouldn't even say you sound preachy, man. If anything, you know what? If anything, going places is probably, I would say 99% of the time, probably better for somebody than being contained into.
Oh, it's 100% better.
Yeah.
I'd even go so far as to say, I don't have studies on this. I'd go so far as to say it might help people with depression.
It's very possible. It's very, very possible, because we live in such a very, I guess the word is convoluted, I want to use, and just a very, there's layers to like everything now.
Spoon-fed.
Yeah.
We're spoon-fed everything, especially if you watch the news. Like, oh, here's what we think you should be watching. This is what you should be absorbing into your brain. Man, fuck you. Don't tell me what I can and can't do. I'm glad I got that one thing in my personality where I hate being told what to do. Because the news that's basically what they're doing. They're trying to tell you how to eat, sleep,
shit
and all that. Like, nah, fuck you. Let me figure this out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
It's funny you say that, dude, because again, I've said this before on the show. When I was, I would say maybe between the ages of 10 and 13, you're a young adult, you're becoming a teenager and growing up in the world and all that. I used to view the news as, it's like, hey, this is what adults really, because my dad was a big fan of the newspaper.
Yeah, my mom is, and she still is. She'll watch that shit every fucking evening. And I'm like, and I would sit there when I was living there. I would sit there and like, what the fuck are you listening to to this shit for? It's like nothing but depressing ass shit.
It is. And so do you think that either we are getting old enough to where we recognize it, or do you think that we live in the day and age where it's being pushed even harder from media corporations?
No, I think what happened, no, you said media corporations. That's two different things.
Oh, you kind of know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're going to say what you're going to say, I want you to be clear about.
We'll say news outlets. Does that?
Media. Media is one thing. Corporations are another thing. Now, corporations have bought certain media, i.e. Jeff Bezos and the Washington Post, which used to be a quite respectable newspaper in this country. I think New York Times might be the only one left, but after that fucking Travis Kelce bullshit, I don't know how much I believe that. But yeah, man, people are forced. I don't know. I don't talk to enough people about the news because I don't watch the news. I catch certain stuff because I've been on. I'm on TikTok here and there, just trying to see what other people are doing to try to maybe fucking come up with some ideas. But then the more shit I watch, the more shit I'm like, this is bullshit. This is somebody fucking talking for the sake of talking.
Yeah,
and I get it because there's a lot of like skits on like podcasts where it's like, oh, they're just fucking people get microphones, and there's a lot of that. There's a lot of people just getting microphones
and think they can
podcast. I like to think, I would hope to think that we are a little better than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and I would like to think the same thing too, man. Not to toot our own horn, because we really don't do that often enough, and we should give ourselves a pat on the back.
But that's what I'm saying. I think...
You hear that?
Yeah, I hear it.
That's a pat on my back.
But I don't want to be put under that category as like, oh, these motherfuckers just talking shit to be talking shit. They're just fucking got microphones. This mic, I don't know. It's not like we. Well, I think that was kind of why I was like a little perturbed about what I was asking you earlier. Is because I was like, we're doing the show. Like, do a little research.
Well, it's funny you say that because you hit me with the one thing, and it's like, fuck, I have like 8 other things that I've thought of throughout the whole week. And in a respectful manner, it's like, oh, I finally have something I can really elaborate on.
Well, the only reason that came up for me is because I was seeing a lot of videos, and I think I kind of glazed over it last week, maybe. I've seen a lot of these people creating content, quote unquote, and they're just talking shit. I'm like, they're still talking shit. I'm like, I don't know who Killer Mike is. Apparently he got it because the way the Grammys are judged, it's not by how many streams you get.
Yeah.
It's voted by their peers, other musical peers.
Which I think is the right way to do it.
No shit.
Yeah.
Of the actual content that is in the album. And they all voted, hands down, Killer Mike. Matter of fact, his album guaranteed had more tracks on it than any of the other ones. He had 25 tracks on that motherfucker.
Ooh, that's a deep album.
Exactly.
If you are a younger person out there, back in the day, that almost sounds like a double disc album.
Almost.
Right? Yeah. There are a handful of albums out there that require 2 discs because of the extensive amount of
the
catalog.
Space.
Yeah.
It was storage space back then. Now it's streamed. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Well, that's cool, but I just think, put it this way, when I was younger, and I might probably still feel this way too, I was always the kind of guy that if I bought an album, no matter what it was, no matter what genre, if it had a bunch of, like, we'll say it's 25 tracks long, I would look at that initially like, oh man, there's probably a lot of filler on this thing, and there's probably just a handful of good songs. But
when you win 3 Grammys, there's no filler.
Yeah, well, and I'm, and I'm all for it. But what I'm saying is when I was younger, I would happily take. I'll use Illmatic as a very good example. Not only because it's one of the best albums,
which was one of the people who was nominated for best rap album, by the way.
Yeah, and if you can beat Nasty Nas, you must have some good shit out there.
And that was a good album. Again, I know you don't listen to a lot of new stuff. That was a good album. I very much enjoyed that.
King's Disease 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed that album. The other 3 that were in the category, I'm really not into them. Like Travis Scott was one. I like some Travis Scott stuff, but I'm not rushing, showing my age here. I'm not rushing to the record store to buy that motherfucker.
Did you call it a record store?
Yeah, I did it for a point.
Here.
This is a clip for later.
Yeah.
I'm not rushing to the record store to pick that motherfucker up. But
no, but that's a good point, and I think that's a part of the magic that's missing sometimes too, man.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I think, and that too, and I think accessibility. Same thing with podcasts. I think accessibility, the barrier to entry, ain't shit no more.
Yeah,
like to anything.
Nothing.
If you want to make a movie, you can make a movie. Your fucking iPhone I'm not saying it's as good as the fucking Red camera, or like if anybody knows cameras out there, a Red camera or a cinematic Canon or a fucking Black Magic fucking camera. No, it's not as good as that, but I can make a cinematic looking movie with that motherfucker. As long as my sound and my audio is all good, we're good. Or if I got a good editor who knows how to fucking put in fucking sound effects and all that shit, I don't know. Maybe, never mind. I was going to toot my own horn.
Yeah,
I'm kind of good at the shit. But then same thing. Okay, same thing with podcasts. All you need is a microphone and a fucking mixer. Well,
you got to have content too.
Yeah, you got to have content. But then motherfuckers, I'll see motherfuckers on TikTok. They'll just clip their shit up. Because now they got AI will fucking clip your shit for you. And you just post the shit. And then hopefully somebody catches your shit. You just keep posting a bunch of clips from your shit. I have tried it. I don't think AI does that great of a job of finding the right clips, especially for our niche. And I don't know. We're kind of in between. We're like pop culture and comedy. So it's like a hard thing to like find clips for and to kind of narrow in an audience, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, because I think if we do anything good, which I feel we do everything good, in the sense of from how
what up, Londa?
What's up, Londa? What's up, buddy? From how we initially started, and just like we were telling our good buddy Hamza last week, hopefully he killed it at that stand-up he went to. Shout out to Hamza. You know, you guys can't see it here on camera, and those for listening, you know, over here to the side, we have this little old TV stand in mind that me and Jared had when we started redoing the show.
Don't even talk about that.
Yeah.
What about the fucking basement?
Yeah, no. Hold on, I was going to get into all that. You know, we're sitting.
That was before that.
Yeah, we're sitting in Jared's basement. You know, on that couch with the little mini fridge. We got to get a mini fridge, bro. I am buying it. I am buying us a mini fridge.
I have one somewhere. Oh no, it's in my mom's house.
But just the little things from how far we have come from a production standpoint and just an overall look, that takes time and dedication. And what Jared's basically saying is you got a lot of people out there who are hungry for attention. I think
there's a lot of that.
Yeah, hungry for attention.
There's a lot of just doing it for, as the kids used to say, doing it for the gram.
And it's funny you say that. When I was younger, Jay-Z said somewhere in an interview at some point in time, I don't know where it was in his career, he was like, hey, man, you know, when I rap, I don't rap for the sake of rhyming. If that makes any sense to anybody.
He's doing it for the content.
Yeah, he's doing it for the content. He's doing it,
the actual content, not just to create content.
Yeah, he was like, hey, man, I could rhyme a ton of words. He said, but does it mean anything? No.
Yeah.
You know, so I've kind of always kept that in the back of my mind when it comes to any level of creativity, whether it's a podcast, whether you make music, whether it's hip hop or rock or whatever, or if you're a painter or just something, you don't do it just for the sake of doing it. You do it for the culture. And I hate to sound like a fucking weirdo when I say it.
I kind of agree with you but I don't, because there's a lot of people on these platforms that will say, oh, you just go out and don't worry about what anybody thinks of what you're gonna put up. Just put it up. Just put something up. And I get it for the non-starters. Yeah. Just go put something up. Maybe you just get that one nut out of you, and you'll be good to go to make more shit. But,
I feel better. You know.
But at the same time, you should still be kind of scripting your shit out.
Yeah.
There should be some kind of bullet points that you know you want to hit, and some kind of research behind it, like just what we were talking about earlier. You don't just come into the motherfucker like blah, 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 blah. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I come here and I'm just phoning it in, and I don't know. You know what? I've never even I never thought to check that correlation to see whether like the weeks that I come in and I'm just phoning it in, whether the numbers correlate with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm really trying to stop paying attention to the numbers.
Yeah.
Because it's just making me, I don't want to create shit specifically for, again, the algorithm.
Yeah.
I want to create it shit so it's good shit.
Yeah, no. And you're right, because when you start doing that, whether it's for our show or any other piece of entertainment, and I feel like this is maybe a good segue into this. you're going to be much, much more critical of how you approach what you naturally already do. And it's like, hey, put it this way. Some of our best episodes were days me and you probably were like, what the fuck do we do? And that shit just hit really well. And there are some days where me and you come in, we got the glasses on, we've got the rock arm chisel, with the
and
pin.
we think it's gonna be the best fucking shit.
Yeah, in the world. And then it's like, oh, hey, who watched you? Your grandmother.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck? It's like, how does that happen?
But you know what? I've heard that plenty of times before. Other podcasts that I watch, they'll say or other creators, not creators, but like people who create like produce like
content,
films and content, I guess. They'll be like, look, oh my god, this piece right here, this is gonna be the one. This is the one. It goes out and fucking shits the bed.
Yeah,
and then they'll put out some bullshit that they think is bullshit, but then the world fucking loves that shit.
It's funny. I think sometimes it really boils down to energy too. Like I think people can tell when it's not.
Yes.
All the way there, and they're just like, hey, you know what? That's not too bad. And I think people know when you're trying too hard. And they're like, it's like, put it this way. If I go up and you're spitting some game at some girl at the bar, right? Mm-hmm. And Jared's over there like, yeah, you're being extra macho. You're doing too much. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, this guy's never getting laid.
I agree with that. Only because
do you guys want to have sex with us? Anyway,
Jesus Christ. Only reason I agree with that because just being on stage, there's times where it's like, even if it's just an open mic, I'll be there and I'll be like, I really want to, like, I don't want to do this. Or I should say, not open mic, when I'm at Shooters. Sometimes I open a show and I'm like, I didn't really fucking prepare this week. Let me just go up there and say my normal shit and just fucking blah, blah, blah. I think people can tell whether or not I even fucking gave a fuck. Because, again, there's an energy thing to it.
Yeah.
But then I'll go to places and I'll get on stage when I know there's a crowd and I go up there and bah, 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 hit my fucking cues, hit my bang, 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 murder. And then it's like, oh, well, shit. Why can't I just do this all the time? And I have to realize in my head I'm not at that level yet where I can just turn it on even if I don't feel like turning it on yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So...
But I think there is a level of respect factor from your whatever audience you're trying to entertain.
Exactly.
And so the idea behind being prepared, which you want to be prepared for anything. When you're prepared for things, you look like Superman. When you're not, you look like shit. However, sometimes life can contradict itself because it's life and it's this big crazy, whatever it is. But yeah, trust me, there have been times in my life, and I can't really use any specific scenario, but put it this way. There are times that I just gone and sat down. I'm like, what a day, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's like, and then you end up having the best day of your life randomly. And then there are other days it's like, you know what? We're going to go do this. We're going to stop and we're going to get some Slim Jims and we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to make a whole, you pre-plan it. And when it doesn't fit the idea in your head, then it's ruined immediately.
Well, I know where you fucked up. You got Slim Jims.
You don't like the Slim Jims?
Those things are not good for you.
They're not good for you. I'm not saying I would eat them in abundance, but every now and then it's okay to...
Londa said, why is RJ wearing protagonist gloves?
There you go. I like that. See, I wore them for this reason in particular. These gloves have created a life of their own. So that's why I put them on.
You said a segue.
Yeah.
Entertainment. You going to entertainment or what are you saying?
I was slowly going towards the entertainment.
Yeah, so
beaker.
very slowly.
Very
slowly.
If you would like to lead us into the entertainment beaker.
Well, the next segment coming up, that sounds stupid, but it's the entertainment beaker because
it's a container of entertainment. There we go.
Was a fat Faison liar.
I mean, I'm so glad it's a thing if anybody is happy about that.
Let's do this.
So we were basically talking about the things we were just discussing, obviously. But earlier
we were just talking about the things we were talking about.
Yeah. You like how I did that? But earlier in the week, you sent me a text message, and I've been...
Motherfucker, I send you messages all week. I don't know which one are you referring to? Because I never get an answer back.
Well, I've been good lately. I've been messaging
Lies.
you back. In the last... I had a lot going on yesterday. But
was a fat Faison liar.
anyway, so Jared, I think it was Tuesday.
Tuesday. Who are you from, Baltimore
yeah,
now?
Yeah, that's where I was getting at.
Tuesday.
All right. You had sent me the first trailer for X-Men 97. Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh.
So, all right. So before we further elaborate and Jared just doesn't participate in the rest of the show.
I did this because I didn't want to do the whole thing.
That's why I've got one of these. Anyway.
Bro, if you don't, I'm moving it over here. I told you stop banging that motherfucker.
That's the point, Jared.
No,
Anyway.
it doesn't. You're fucking sending all that shit through the fucking mics.
All good. So, anybody who's a fan of the show or a fan of us or a fan in general of, well, superheroes or Marvel or, well, whatever it is March 20th, which is basically slightly over a month from now on Disney Plus. We are going to be getting the, I guess if you want to call it a sequel or a continuation.
Let's see what happens. Don't call it anything. I think you're giving it way too much details. Fine, Disney Plus, March, whatever. I'm just fucking glad, and I meant to fucking put the trailer up here so we could watch it. I guess I could still.
Is X-Men, the animated series from the early to mid 90s, is getting its revival. It is trying to continue the story after the end of the 5th season, where I believe
You don't know that for sure.
well, if you because I think in terms of story, I think
I didn't read anything about it. But I don't think you know that for sure. So I think you should just wait.
everything I am saying is speculation, and I think Jared is correct by me putting in that. I don't know we don't know anything yet, but just from watching the trailer for like 15 times because I'm a fat nerd, it basically takes place after the events of the end of season 5 of the original show, where Charles Xavier, Professor X, actually ends up going to space to try to cure his, I guess, the disease that he has. And obviously, being a product of the late 80s, early 90s, I was a huge fan of this show, and Jared's pulling the trailer up right now. Sorry, we will not have the audio included.
No sound.
But this is something that I remember hearing about, but kind of fell in the back of my mind in the pits of whatever the abyss is back there in my head. And when you sent this to me, when you sent it to me, I was taking a shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was taking a shit. And when I say that it's probably one of the best poops I've ever had,
Jesus Christ,
I want to thank you, Jared, for making that poop much better. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
And so we're watching the trailer right now. This is from the original series, and it's kind of fast forwarding. And
Marvel animation.
Oh yeah, and for anybody, and
you haven't watched What If, so fuck off. Also, RJ.
So, if you are a fan of animation, Marvel animation, DC animation, whatever.
Oh, see, it shows Xavier dead. So this is
we
is canon.
We think that's Xavier.
Bro, they had a picture.
No. Here, roll
No,
it back. Here,
you're tripping.
I haven't seen the picture. Here, roll it back.
You got to remember, there's realities. There's different realities in this now.
Hold on, we're gonna try to pause this. At the
Do you
right
hear
time.
you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's fucking branch timelines now.
So
that is fucking a picture of Xavier back there.
Okay, so that's a picture of Xavier here.
Next to some candlelight saying "Love you" and a fucking teddy bear, bro.
A vigil. There is a vigil for Professor X going on. I agree.
Okay, so that's why I want to make sure you understand that he's dead.
Yeah,
because he did die in the movies.
I understand that, but
all right, and he died twice.
So there's always means he can come back too.
So, are you fucking crazy? No shit, he can come back. First of all, it's a comic book.
Yeah.
Second of all, he came back once.
Well, he's Professor X, dude.
Third of all, there's fucking branch timelines.
I know that.
And we also know, because we can go back, we can show that trailer too, the new trailer for fucking Deadpool 3.
Oh, yeah.
There's fucking branch timeline there because the TVA is involved. And if you know anything about the TVA, that comes from Loki, the series on another Marvel thing. See, Londa, I know you're paying attention. You got to fucking pay attention to this shit if you're not paying attention.
I wanted to go up maybe 3 seconds further into this trailer where they're showing the casket being loaded.
No, I know that. Okay, that's a different scene. I'm not saying that's him.
Yeah.
I'm saying the other one shows that he was dead.
Yeah,
That's clearly he was. Somebody was dead. Well, Xavier's clearly dead, and somebody else could clearly be dead. If
So-
that, I don't think that's Xavier, to be honest.
So from the fan theories I've been hearing, obviously because I'm digging into a bunch of fucking shit that I'm unaware
I
of.
want to talk about the controversy of this also at some point.
Yeah, no, of course. Is if you look at the still picture of all the X-Men, one of them, there's a few of them in the trailer and the highlights, there is a picture of Jean Grey, and it looks like she's pregnant. Okay?
Okay, well, that's fine. Probably Cyclops was a kid.
Well, a lot of people don't think it's Jean Grey at all.
Well, they're trying to fix all that.
Yeah.
They're trying to fix all that stuff, Londa.
So here,
But I think actually Deadpool is supposed to be gonna fix all that. That he's the one because he can break the fourth wall. He can go and fucking make sure that everything is fixed from the continuity of back with the Fox days and all that.
And as the trailer continues, we get awesome. We got Storm. I mean, come on, man, Jubilee.
Wolverine, obviously.
And so,
See, Cyclops was a kid.
but there are some fan theories, and
Oh,
this.
this-
Is so,
yo.
So go back. Okay, so I'm glad you caught this when we did, because the first time I saw it, and I know I told you like 5 minutes ago when I saw it, I was taking.
It looks a little weird, but bruh.
This is basically Gambit firing up Wolverine's claws, dude.
Yes.
I mean, you want to talk
So
about?
hold up, we talking about firing up some kinetic energy, which kinetic energy is just movement.
And for all you uncultured swines out there, the term is adamantium. Okay.
Yeah, but firing his adamantium bones up like as a combo move.
Dude, this is like some Marvel vs. Capcom.
This better be in live action at some point.
That is so cool. Because if you think about it, if from the episodes I watched as a kid, and you already know I restarted watching it the moment I saw the trailer.
I was already watching it,
Yeah.
but like I was watching it months ago before I even knew this was happening.
Is that this is badass, dude. Adamantium claws with Gambit's power up. Whoever they're attacking is about to fucking feel it.
They about to get that shit.
This is like kind of seeing like Goku, and it might be a little bit of a bad
Don't bring
comparison.
Dragon Ball Z in here. You know how I feel about that. Like I feel about wrestling.
It's all right. But this is fucking awesome because, and not only are we, me and Jared, diehard Wolverine fans. I mean, besides,
I'm a Gambit
Batman,
fan too.
I'm a huge Gambit fan.
I think I was more of a Gambit fan than I was a Wolverine fan.
Because they had the game for the Sega Genesis back in the day, and you could play. And I want to tell everybody right now that game is hard as fuck. Okay,
all the games back then was hard.
That game was hard, and it's probably one of my favorite games as a kid. But throwing your cards as Gambit and everybody blowing up, and it's like pew.
All the games
Yeah,
back
yeah.
then were hard. Like you have a kid these days try to play the games we used to play. They'd be like, "What is this? I can't."
Oh,
do
dude,
it.
and then they get no continues, and
Yeah.
they get halfway through the level.
I have to
and
start
die.
over again.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, motherfucker,
Yeah.
all the way from the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I've learned that a lot in the last year with some of the shit I've been playing. But this looks incredible. So, with the release of this trailer, obviously the inner nerd of me, I was like, I'm opening up Disney Plus immediately, and I'm starting from season 1, episode 1. I'm going through the whole thing.
Plus, you know what makes me happy about this is we've never really gotten a real, I don't know, a good live action Gambit. This is proof that he's gonna be live action at some point.
He should be. I think Gambit is probably he's probably one of the most.
Don't say slept on. No,
no,
Gambit
no,
is
no.
not slept on.
Well, hold on. Well, I will say slept
He's
on, but
underutilized in the MCU. Yeah, I agree. But not the MCU, the X-Men universe, because you got to remember that. Let's just play out.
Yeah, the rest of the trailer.
We don't because that's the only part that matters right here.
So fucking cool, dude. Oh yeah.
So fucking Cyclops, he's a bitch. He's like the fucking captain of the football team. I hope he fucking dies.
Yeah, so it's funny you say it. No, it's funny you say that because as a kid,
I fucking hated him, bro.
Yeah, everybody, Cyclops is the wait for it.
Sabretooth.
So yeah.
I think that's Sabretooth, right?
No, that is Magneto.
Oh, yeah, he's got long hair. It looks weird. I don't want that advertisement. Let's go ahead and change that.
So, yeah, get rid of that. Cut that out.
I did.
What I was going to say is that with the release of this trailer, I got, obviously I put the cartoon on immediately. One of my favorite cartoons as a kid, and it should be for a lot of fans of cartoons, animation, or superheroes. Then we got in, before we started doing the show, what makes this trailer so special, and obviously we can't play the audio, is the theme for the X-Men. It is arguably, and this is always going to be up for debate, it might be the best intro theme to a cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
You know how many times I wanted to make that to a hip hop beat? And I think somebody may have done it, but nobody notable has done it.
No, they haven't. You know what a very recycled thing is? Maybe not in recent years, but way back when was Super Mario. Well, there was also the 007 one that was done a bunch of times. Hold on. There was going to be a Gambit film with Channing Tatum in it, but they withdraw it for some reason. I hope to see a cool Gambit film. Me too, man. I think there should be a Gambit film that's just Gambit. Yeah, the Raging Cajun, baby.
I don't want to see, I don't necessarily need to see how he got his powers. Maybe some flashbacks or something. Yeah, somebody has to be dedicated. You know what it is? The only way it's going to happen is how Ryan Reynolds did it.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be highly dedicated to playing that character, who fits the character, and can make it happen.
So since you said that,
because Ryan Reynolds is the only one that could have made Deadpool happen. It wasn't going to happen without him. And it's one of their most successful franchises, by the way.
So it's funny you say that. So let me ask you this. And this is a question for everybody. Do you think he is, out of all the we're going to, besides Tony Stark, and I will say Hugh Jackman as
Tony
Wolverine.
Stark is their biggest one.
Yeah, and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Yeah, but Hugh Jackman, he wasn't part of the actual Marvel universe until more recently.
Yeah,
until now, until Deadpool.
Yeah, no, but I just meant from it's like,
he was part of the Fox universe or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
but this guy's born to play this role. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of what I was getting at. You're right. Ryan Reynolds is the only person that I could imagine playing Deadpool.
Well, when I say him playing it, is like he was adamant about playing it in the first place. And then he was also a person who could make it happen because he was already directing and executive producing shit. So he's the only one that could have made that happen regardless. Plus, the fans wanted it. I remember I was in school doing animation, like 3D animation at the time. And like all the fan fucking shit. Matter of fact, that opening scene I think that was specifically done by fans.
Yeah.
And they kept it and they did it for the movie and for real. Because that was like concept for the movie. And they kept that scene in there. Like, I don't think people realize, like, that was in the works since, like, 2010 or some shit.
And I think obviously the big driving factor in this is, one, everybody's been waiting for Deadpool 3 for a long time. It feels like a little while now.
Yeah, I don't think I was, because to be honest, I was disappointed with 2.
I like 2. I think the first one is
right.
the
first
is
one
better.
Is better.
Yeah.
It seems like from the trailer that 3 is going to look pretty good, or is going to be pretty good, only because they got Wolverine. But at the same time, I don't think Hugh Jackman wants to keep playing Wolverine. Like, so what are we going to do? You can't really kill off Wolverine.
You can't. And so I'm so glad this is all just happening the right way. So the last time me and you saw Wolverine was actually many, many years ago.
Logan.
When we went to go see Logan in theaters. Yeah. And we always encourage everybody, besides The Dark Knight, that's probably the best superhero movie ever. And that's just me, okay? I'm such a Wolverine mark dude.
As a focused film, yes. But then you got to remember, Infinity War was pretty good and Endgame was good.
Oh, those are great, but I just meant solely focusing on, like, one character.
Oh, yeah, solo film.
And just
that's
because
what I'm saying. That's why I need to do a Gambit one like that.
Yeah, and so anybody who's seen Logan, and if you haven't, please do yourself a favor. And so we are going to see.
If you haven't seen Logan by now, you just aren't a fan of any of this shit.
I 100% agree because I know when me and you both left the theater for seeing Logan for the first time, we were just like, yo. Like,
Because you know why?
That was so fucking cool.
You know why? Is because same thing with like The Dark Knight, with the one with the Joker.
Yeah.
Well, all of Christopher Nolan. Maybe that the first one wasn't so realistic, but the second one was definitely more realistic, and I think that's what I liked about it. It was a film that suspended, like it was able to bring me into real life, but not so much pull me into imagination.
No, actually, sense. Yeah, no, that's you're correct. It's not overly superhero-y.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There's a dark. We can even use.
I won't say dark. Yeah, there is a dark side to it, but that's not the reason why I think it's a good film. I just think it's a good film because it was more a good film.
Well, it's an excellent film, and there's more of a humanized factor to it, as opposed to you being invincible.
Story,
yeah,
as opposed to just let's see how much flashy CGI we can put on the fucking screen. Yeah, and that's what I want to. While we're there, I want to get. But since we're here anyway, so yeah, you're there, but you were talking about Oppenheimer also.
I was, and I sat down and I watched it. One because I know you tell me to watch all these things, and
because
because I know you're a savant when it comes to television.
No, I watch a lot. No, it's not. I'm not a savant. It's just
I know I'm just poking.
I want to watch. First of all, this is what we talk about, so I want to make sure I'm caught up, so I know what the fuck I'm saying when I'm saying it. And then I don't watch shit that like nobody's talking about because that means it's not any good. Because there's a lot of shit that pops up. The way I watch stuff, I see a lot of shit pop up. I'm like, then I look at the ratings. I'm like, nah, I'll pass.
Yeah.
But that's why I told you. I was like, The Beekeeper.
Yeah.
It's Jason Statham, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he don't make a bad action film. You know what I'm saying? Like, you always talking about 90s action. That's who he is now.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. And
he is that guy right now.
I will always be dude, there is nothing like a good old 90s action flick.
But back to Oppenheimer.
Yeah. So I finally took the time to sit down and watch Oppenheimer. I was very excited.
But that's the hold on. You're still, because he's talking about it too. Londa says he didn't think it was going to be so geopolitical, but he enjoyed the film. I agree. Maybe I didn't think it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more science based, but at the time, you got to remember this is what was going on during that time. It was all politics. It's like, we're going to make this shit to fuck a bunch of people up, or we just doing it for science, that type of shit. So.
Yeah, and so I put the film on. I wanted to go into it because everybody knows that me and Jared are huge Christopher Nolan fans, and anything that he makes, we're always going to sit down and try to absorb whatever it is that he's putting out on a canvas. So I watched it. I will say I very, very much enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it, as funny as it sounds, I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. And what I mean by that is that, you know, the film starts, it's a very like geopolitical, but it's also very sciencey for a casual non-science guy like myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was broken down into such a way where even I understood it. What was happening.
Well, they had to dumb it down for you dummies.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a big dummy. All right. You big dummy. All right. And
I was hoping it would be more sciencey, to be honest.
And that's fine, but I think for the sake of his audience, Christopher Nolan was like, hey, I can only go so far with this. And I think that's what made me enjoy it more is that I could comprehend what was happening.
Yeah, when they were doing math on the board, they didn't like explain what the fucking shit was. Like, they did a couple of things, but it wasn't like it wasn't explaining scientific theories like Interstellar did. Interstellar did it visually, but then they also, you had to kind of understand the basis of like, okay, so why is he aging up here and these guys aren't?
So that is a very good example of how complex his film can be,
yeah.
And then how it's like, hey, let me tone it down a little bit. And so I watched the film. I highly encourage everybody to watch it. Is it my favorite Christopher Nolan film was where I was getting at, and I'm still going to say no. And
I mean, I would agree with that. But one thing that I did learn very recently about that film, though, is, which me personally, as a person who just likes film and like, I am a big proponent of practical effects.
Yeah.
The least amount that you can make some shit or somebody believe some shit without using the computer to do it, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And apparently, and I actually, what the clip that I saw, I was like, oh, that's the most simplest thing that you could ever do. And apparently like 90 to 95% of the film was practical effects.
And I think that's awesome.
That's fucking crazy.
And so, do you want to know the first thing that popped into my head as the opening scenes were rolling? I thought of you, and I said, shit. I said, I'm finally watching this film. I said, I'm not watching it the way it's intended to be watched in terms of the visual aspect of it and the way it was shot.
Yeah, it was shot in IMAX, and I agree because that's how I watched it. I watched it on my regular television. But yeah, like same thing. Londa said the same thing as far as like it being science fiction and visually as good as Interstellar. But it's actually, not Interstellar. Oppenheimer's not really science fiction. That actually, all that shit actually happened.
Yeah.
But I guess it could be science fiction at the same time because it was probably some dramatization. It was like 90 to 95%. Like there, I give you one example, and I wish I had the clip up now, but the scenes where he's thinking about shit and the background shimmering behind him.
Yeah.
They used an actual, so they had the background, but then they took a picture of the background and then put it on a regular projector, like a projector I could buy for my house, or we could show a movie right here, right now. That projector, they took that same image that they took of the background, put it on the screen or put it and shined it behind the actor, and then made it move up and down. So it looked like in the camera. Which, like I said before, I'm always like, the more you can do in the camera and you don't have to do it in post, the better, because it just looks better. So all that shit was in camera. So it's like they're what's his name, Chillington or whatever. Yeah. So they got the camera focused on him, but then in the background you see the background just shimmering. That's just a fucking projector that they moved up and down.
And I think that's the beauty in some of the films that Chris Nolan makes, or just in general.
And some of them, it was just Christopher Nolan just in front of the camera himself, like there was some shit twirling, like looking like Adams. It's him fucking in front of the camera, just twirling this. Like, this dude really involved in the film, bro.
And it's so, since
not a lot of directors are in that involved.
No, and that's why I really think in the last maybe a little over a decade, he's arguably the best director out there. Of this time period?
Of this time period? Don't say our generation.
Yeah. No, don't worry, because
you're getting old. You're getting old.
I do. I am.
But I agree. I would say I would probably say he's the best. As far as a filmmaker, because director in the sense of in Hollywood is like, oh yeah, I just tell people where to go here, where to go here. But when you're actually involved, that's what a director is to me.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I need you to do this, and I need you to do this, and then
I'm cinema.
Yes, he's a film. Like, what we call, like, when we say film, and I take it very seriously. Like, I can call one thing a movie, and I call one thing a film.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I
and when it comes to film, he is the best that we have right now.
And so, I'm watching this movie, and I'm doing my best to not only pay attention to every little detail I possibly can.
Don't do that just because I do that. Just watch it and enjoy it for how you like it.
No, and I do. I promise you, I do. Yeah. But at the same time, as somebody who is that does this show with you, it's like, all right, man. I already like this guy's movies. He's never made a movie that I haven't liked, and it's like, all right. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to be comparing this to his other films. I'm not going to be comparing it to, and he is like the one director right now. It's like, I'm not going to compare this to fucking Francis Ford Coppola or Steven Spielberg or whatever, or Scorsese,
it's like Tarantino.
Big name guys. This guy, I am judging his movies based upon his work of art, not anybody else.
Yeah, I agree. His body of work alone. Like, I'm not going to compare, and I think this is actually probably a new route for me and you, the way we're thinking about this. I think we shouldn't be judging films one against the other. Like the fact that, and I get it, they opened up at the same time, but the fact that we're judging Oppenheimer against Barbie, that's a corporate movie. Fuck that movie.
Yeah, no, and you're
hold
right.
on.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not
Go
done.
ahead, go.
I'm not done.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Let it out,
But
brother.
we should be judging films by the specific artist's other body of work. Is it better, or is he improving, or is it just a total piece of one-off thing? Because that's how you judge a painting. If you go to a art museum or art gallery, that's how you judge it. Like, if I want to see, I'll go to a Picasso gallery. Done it before. I've been to Picasso shit. I'm like, oh shit, this is dope. This is at the time when he was doing his Cubanism and this, that, and everything. And then, oh shit, I didn't know he did stippling too. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like when it comes to art, if you really know art, you know what the fuck you're looking at.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna judge it because not every person is the same. I can't judge Nolan on Tarantino because Tarantino is not the same style.
No,
as Nolan.
No,
You know what
not
I'm
at
saying?
all. So when you compare, like, and I think that's the beauty in it, because I think we live in such a day and age when we get any form of entertainment, whether it's a movie, a television show, an album, or whatever it is.
What's his next movie, Londa?
That we immediately go compare it to everything else we've seen, and that's the bad thing. Because
But that's
if
what I'm
you do-
saying.
Yeah,
We're on to something right now.
Yeah. Because when you do that, you're hurting yourself as a viewer, because you're like, oh, I am overly setting my expectation, as opposed it's like, hey man, everything I've watched this guy do is good.
Yep.
And I've enjoyed it. This should be no different unless it tells me otherwise, and you don't compare it to anything else. And so I watched the movie. By the time it ended and the credits were rolling, I sat there and I was like, yo, shit. If you really think about it, that movie is 3 hours long, and there's just a lot of just good acting, good talking, a lot of tense
They had
moments.
some of the best actors and actors. Well, I guess everybody's actor these days, but they had some of the best actors
And I
in
commend
Hollywood right
and
now.
I commend him, just like Quentin Tarantino, and I will use Martin Scorsese as a huge example of going with the same guys that have made them successful.
Well, I think we said this before. Because I've noticed that too throughout the years. People will use the same actors, but I read that, and I think I may have looked it up. They do that because they know their abilities, they know what they can do, and where they can place them, and they know they can work with them. They're easy to work with. If you see a motherfucker in one movie and they probably ain't in the next movie, that's probably because they weren't. They just weren't a fit. Because I'll give you an example, and you haven't seen it still, which is ridiculous, like 3 years later, but The Harder They Fall.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were.
How did you know I was going to say that?
Well, I just know a lot of things, Jared,
Okay.
because I'm a smart guy.
The Harder They Fall, which had a bunch of people in it, which this past week, and I didn't get to American Fiction. That's a good one, too. But anyway, I watched The Book of Clarence this week. I think I finished it yesterday or maybe the day before. But The Book of Clarence is by the same guy who did The Harder They Fall. This guy's a musician, James Samuels. And so, yeah, he Sean Carter, a.k.a. Jay-Z, is very involved. This is like part of his whole thing, too. But James Samuels is the one it is. But at least 2 or 3 of the same actors are in this film that were in The Harder They Fall.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, everybody's doing this just because, like, I don't know if it's guaranteed work, but they know they can work with this person. They know this person's good, so they're going to keep working with them. So all of them do it. Tarantino does it. Nolan does it. I think this is the first time that Nolan has worked with Robert Downey Jr.
And from what I've read before the film, or when its initial release came out back last summer,
Michael Caine, Tom Hardy. Yeah, yeah. You're right. Murphy.
When the initial film came, apparently Robert Downey Jr. kind of came out of his quote unquote retirement to work with.
Oh yeah.
Nolan.
He did say that. He was like, I guess it came across his desk and he was like, "Oh, I get a chance to work with Nolan. Hell yeah, let me do
Yeah,
this."
I mean, and as an actor, I'm sure there's. I mean, think about it, if you were like a young guy trying to make it big, who wouldn't want to work for Tarantino or Nolan? I mean, dude, I would personally hop on it, dude, if I had to become a method actor or whatever, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but you're not just gonna hop into a
No,
Nolan
you just
film.
you earn it.
Because
You
I was
earn
gonna
it.
say
Yeah, you
because
gotta earn it. I agree.
Cillian Murphy, that motherfucker was in Peaky Blinders,
Yeah.
and he played the fuck out of Tommy. God damn it, I can't remember his last name. What was it? Thomas Shelby.
Yeah,
He played the fuck out of that role.
that's.
And I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I've been watching it.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I've been watching it. Yeah, so
Because of Oppenheimer, or just because you finally caught up?
No, well, I think the finally caught up, as funny as it is, as accurate as it, I think it's kind of vague a little bit, because when I start to initially watch something, I want to make sure that I am in the, I don't want to say the mood to watch it, because everybody's got to be in the mood to watch anything. But I want to make sure that when I go to watch something, especially if I know if it's going to be good or going to really grab my attention, I want to make sure it has my attention, if that makes any sense.
Peaky Blinders gets your attention from like the moment one. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
crazy. That's crazy that you would even think it would.
No, I just meant in general. But with Peaky Blinders, I was like, you know what? I've only seen so much of this show. And,
I'm actually about to rewatch that shit.
There was, and this was maybe 2-3 weeks ago. But I was kind of just doom scrolling through Netflix, and I'm like, man, they got this, they got that. And I was like, you know what? I have never done myself a favor and finished watching this. So I was like, here, let me chalk it up. Let me put it on and let me
Don't make it
sit
sound
down.
like a fucking such a chore.
It's
God
not a chore.
damn.
No. And I know I might be making it sound that way.
No,
I don't mean
you
to.
are making it sound like that way.
I don't mean to.
You sound like this.
I get it. I don't care about this shit though, dude.
That's what you sound like right now.
Well, that's not my intention. I promise.
That's blasphemy against fucking goddamn Peaky Blinders, bro.
No, but I'm on halfway through the second season.
Oh.
Yeah.
You don't sound too excited.
No. I think it's great. The reason I don't want to be overly exasperative about it is because I haven't finished it yet. So the moment I finish it, and I can,
those first couple of seasons are pretty fucking fire.
they're awesome. But still, at the same time, I want to view it as a whole body of work before anything else.
Don't get your hopes up.
But again, folks, if you haven't seen Oppenheimer, do yourself a favor. It's not only a great film; it's really a huge, vital part of American history. The story that it tells.
That's true.
And I think
That's world history.
It is world history. It's not. Jared's right. That's not American history. That is world.
It
history.
definitely changed the world. God damn.
And there is obviously that initial scene in the movie where they finally build the prototype and they
All right,
raise it up. And,
you're giving the movie away now.
Just do yourself a favor and please check it out. If you're a fan
America.
fuck yeah. Do yourself a favor and check it out. You won't be disappointed, I promise. And if there's anything you guys want to recommend for us to watch, tell us. But
I probably already watched it.
I know you did.
Like I was saying, I watched Book of Clarence. I liked it. Different concept than I'm used to. It kind of, I don't know. I recommend it. It's different feel for everything you've probably already been taught throughout your life as far as like the Bible goes.
The Bible?
Yeah, it's fiction, but it's still like the take on it is very unique, and I fuck with it.
No, and I like that level of what is it? It's like, hey, this is what everybody knows. It's like, what if we just make that interpretation that everybody knows? What if we interpret it slightly different?
Well, yeah, and that's what he did. The other thing, American Fiction with Jeffrey Wright. Watched that. I thought that was good as far as, again, different. Basically, that is about, it's a writer. He's black, and he is trying to write these novels, and nothing's kicking off.
Yeah.
And then he's starting to see all these other artists or all these other writers writing, like, because of his education, he's like a Harvard-educated writer, so he thinks he should be writing these sophisticated things, and so he ends up so he's seeing all these people write bullshit about like the black community and like, and they're all fucking making sales. So then he decides to go under a pen name and write some crazy shit because he needs money, and it ends up selling like fucking crazy. And it's a kind of a cool story to watch. There's some great actors and actresses in it.
Now let me ask you this: when you say novel, and obviously it does revolve around the black community, do you mean like a novel in the sense of like a murder mystery, or a novel as in like like a love story, or
No,
just
he's a
books?
writer.
He's just
who writes novels, and some of his like his early his own work under his name are like these profound pieces of like traditional writing. Like you're a quote unquote writer.
yeah,
like-
as silly as it sounds, yes, that is correct.
So that's why I would think you would appreciate it. It's like he wants to be like this sophisticated writer and like show the world that black people can do other than this. But what's selling is not that. So that's what the movies. That's why it's called American fiction.
So it's so funny you say that. When you get into any form of medium that allows you to be creatively expressive, whether it's writing a book or whatever it is, when you, man, that's so good, dude. When you are that passionate and you write about, hey, like, this is not what we are, or this is not what this is, blah, blah, blah. And then everybody's like, nah, you know what? We might feel that, but that ain't what's really happening. And then it goes back to, like, you're trying to make a difference, right? And then you and your, the straight and narrow edge thought process is like, hey, I'm doing right by everybody, this, and that. And then it doesn't do well. And it's like, well, fuck, what do I do? Do you think that is a society as a whole that is just attached to drama? And they don't want to read the good stuff. Everybody wants to read the bad stuff, kind of thing.
This is okay. So that's a good point that you brought up. And because you brought that up, I suggest you watch the movie.
All right.
I think it's Apple Plus, matter of fact.
And it's funny, I still have Apple Plus because I'm still waiting for Silo season 2.
Who's not? I think they said it starts filming this year, but it won't come out till next year.
I'm very excited about that because that's actually a good show. Like, I was like, oh shit, this is really good.
That was one of the best shows they did.
So there's something, we're talking about all this form of entertainment and everything. And what I kind of wanted to kind of vaguely touch on is that, we're in the middle of February. We're getting closer to the springtime now.
Yeah, Apple Plus.
For the rest of the world and everything else, this past Sunday, was the Super Bowl. We had, it's the big sports moment in America. And I'm glad Jared did that.
Should have known I was going to do that.
Yeah. And so we don't overly get into sports on the show, but when I talk about the Super Bowl, I talk about it as something abroad.
Londa missed our MMA conversation earlier, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you didn't do yourself a favor. You should have tuned in on time, even though we're never on time. All right, So the Super Bowl was this past notifications. Sunday. We saw the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers duke it out into an overtime win. My point is there's a lot that kind of, I feel, from a media narrative aspect.
You mean the 12 times they showed fucking Taylor Swift? Is that what you're talking about?
No. And I'm kind of glad you said that, dude. I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift in terms of her music. I know her songs. They're catchy. They're cool. I personally have no problem with Taylor Swift.
I don't have a problem, but her music sucks.
It's meant for a certain demographic, and we
agree.
definitely don't fit that, me and you. Being both middle-aged black men.
I don't.
He
said both middle-aged black men.
So, sorry.
That's the funniest shit you've ever said.
Yeah, so, no, but I've, throughout the season, it has been the big NFL narrative, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And if you're just a football fan in general, you want to watch football, and you're like, hey, that's cool. That's that guy's girlfriend. No problem. So the narrative all year has just been around Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and their love and all this. Yeah.
What's your point?
But my point is that this Super Bowl was big in several aspects. it was big in the sense of like, okay, like the whole narrative that's been following this team all year.
All right, now, Londa, we get it. God damn, don't keep doing that to us. We know.
This
He
whole
said
narrative,
American football is not football. We get it. We get it, the rest of the world. But we're not going to change the fucking name of our fucking biggest sport. So
it's not happening.
You know
it's
what?
not happening. America wins.
All due respect, fuck off.
So I felt it was only one, it was deserved. And another reason I brought it up is because, Jared, you're the first person to tell me that when Tom Brady was a quarterback that I didn't appreciate him and that I hated him.
Yeah, you did hate him.
I still do.
You hate it all the time.
Yeah, I still do. I'm actually very much looking forward to him being a commentator this upcoming season, as crazy as it sounds.
Tom, terrific.
So I'm watching the game with my mom. You know, I'm watching the Super Bowl, and we're watching Patrick Mahomes, who is kind of moving in the direction of what you like to say, Jared, great.
Yes, he is. Keep going. Get to the point.
My point is that now that I'm older and now that I'm able to, I don't know, be
Step
more
away. Take yourself out of the emotion.
Yeah, take away. It's like, you know, when the game started, I've got no dog in the fight. I could care less who wins. My mom was like, "Who do you want to win?" And I was like, you know what? I said everybody's been shitting on the Chiefs all year, even though they haven't had
You
their
feel
best.
sympathy for these motherfuckers?
No. But I said, hey, you know, I'd have no problem if Kansas City won.
You're tripping, bro.
Yeah, no, I'd have no problem with that. And the reason I said
That's
that,
because you're an AFC guy.
No. I mean, I am, yes. But at the same time, I don't want somebody in my division winning. I want to win the division. But
That's dumb. Like, I'd rather an NFC team win than unless it's the Cowboys. Anybody but the Cowboys can win.
yeah.
If it's the NFC, fuck the AFC. I
Yeah,
don't like
yeah.
any AFC teams.
And I think you're correct with that. You're not wrong with what you're saying. But okay, so you're right. I was a little biased. I didn't want San Francisco to win because I like my 6 rings. They're not allowed to have them, and they don't.
Yeah, but they fucking had some of the best quarterbacks of all time. What are you talking about?
I would
would have rather them won. I would love Kyle Shanahan. And I've heard somebody say they hated Kyle Shanahan. Like, what are you talking about? How do you hate Kyle Shanahan? He's one of the best offensive fucking minds we've ever seen.
Yeah, no,
that's crazy.
And I 100% agree. I have no beef with the Niners either.
Yeah, but bro, some of the shit that people say is just crazy to me. I don't know.
So that was basically my point in bringing it up. So the game ends. The Chiefs do win their second title back to back. The Taylor Swift Travis Kelce narrative. Oh, they're in love.
That shit was annoying to cut to her every fucking time he caught the ball. He caught the ball like 3 times. Get the fuck out of here showing her.
Yeah, and I was waiting, literally, no bullshit. I waited 10 minutes after when the post game. I was literally waiting for this guy to propose to her. I'm not even lying to you because I was like, wouldn't that be so crazy if that were to happen?
I don't know. I saw. I'm gonna tell you right now. I felt a lot of cringe moments during that game with him, and I was like, ugh.
So when you say cringe moments, you might be talking about
you
that.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't need to fucking. That's been talked about in every other outlet. Man, whatever. We get it. But that shit, when he started singing at the end, Viva Las, I'm like, all right, bro, I get it. You won a Super Bowl. Chill the fuck out. Your girl's here.
Yeah.
Like, act like you got some fucking sense.
I think the big thing, obviously with him and other than Taylor Swift, was that moment where he was upset and was yelling at Andy Reid.
That's what I was trying to avoid talking about.
And I know you do, and I promise I'll be very brief with it. I had no problem with it happening whatsoever.
I mean, if you like hitting women, yeah, sure.
Well, first of all, Andy Reid is not a woman. Okay,
I know, but like you sound like you condone some shit. How you know he don't do that behind doors?
I don't.
He get excited about some shit.
And that honestly, I'm not a fan of Travis Kelce in the sense of I don't care what he does. I don't dislike the guy.
Look, you're about to ask for that haircut when you get your haircut this week.
Yeah, let me get the Travis Kelce. Oh, and it's funny. Like a couple days later, after you came on here, and I know you're.
It wasn't just me. It was Cheeto too.
Yeah, I mean, you both have very understanding.
We have fades.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. But a week later or so, I'm doom scrolling, and then it's on World Star, and it's like, oh, Travis Kelce has popularized the fade, and I was like, where's Jared? Like, I pulled it open.
Let me tell you a little secret, sir. You know where you get all your fucking latest pop culture, whatever's happening in the culture right away?
World Star.
No. They're late. TikTok.
Okay, I feel that's fair because it is
TikTok
new,
is immediate.
Yeah, it's
Because
like
all
the
I
new
gotta do
immediate.
is flip my shit on and boom. Worldstar gets their shit from everybody else.
In recent years, yes, I agree. I miss Q. Rest in
Same
peace to
thing
Q.
with Shade. But the Shade Room, does they even exist anymore?
What, Shade 4-5 and all
No,
that?
the Shade Room.
The Shade Room.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't know, then that's probably
TikTok
a big
is
no.
bing, 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 right away, buddy.
And so, like, when I say I didn't have a problem with it, I think I have a problem with them, obviously. Well, no, I don't. The guy's in the Super Bowl. Okay, you're in the biggest game of the year. He's an athlete. He's a player. He's just venting his anger and frustration. Is there a way to do it? Maybe. But I did not look at it anything more than this guy just wants to win.
I know it was in the moment, but
Yeah.
he still didn't get the ball.
He still no, and you know what?
He caught like 3 passes.
I mean, I will say the passes he did catch towards the end of the game were very vital. So I'll take that. Okay.
Bro, fuck them. The Niners should have won that game. Although you know what? I say that, but then I say they shouldn't have won because they didn't know the fucking rules to the goddamn game. Right? That's crazy.
That is crazy.
You're at the highest level of the game of the sport you're playing, and you don't know the rules to the game you're playing. That's crazy.
Yeah. So and that basically kind of solidifies the point I was trying to make. Is that
It took you that long to get there?
well, I wanted to talk about the game
Nah,
and all
I'm just
that
fucking
stuff.
with you.
Is that Patrick Mahomes? Put it this way: before overtime happened, when there was like a little under 2 minutes left, there was no doubt in my mind he was going to win the football game, and there wasn't. I was like, you know what? And I was watching it with my mother, and I said, "Hey, Mom," I said, "Watch this." I said, "They're going to win," and they did.
Yeah,
And
we all knew that.
Because I
You
think
could tell as soon as they didn't fucking score a touchdown, that was a wrap.
I just was like, you know what? This kid's doing a really good job. I'm not the fact that we're seeing it happen after Brady. It's like, you know what? I don't want to be the old grumpy man my whole life. I was like, here, this kid's doing good, and he's the best in the league. And
Yeah, but you didn't have to do it for this one. He still got 4 more to get.
Oh, I know, dude. He's a long way from Brady,
Yeah.
but the fact that he's done this much in that short period of time is it really is remarkable. Because I really think this.
And Brady did it with another team.
And if anything were going to solidify Brady as the greatest of all time to me, that would be that moment.
Yeah, people are still not trying to give it to him, bro.
No, I will, and everybody knows I am not a fan of his whatsoever.
If you say it one more time, we're ending the show.
Well,
Because you know why?
He was a fat Faison liar.
I love Tom Brady. All right, there you go.
Now you're really lying.
Exactly.
This is what Tom Brady gave you.
Emotional damage.
Jesse James caught that ball, but regardless of that happening,
What was the other thing you wanted to talk about?
There was one more thing I wanted to elaborate on, but it was very brief. Oh, yeah. So I have been on my RDR2 grind lately.
Oh no, we were gonna talk about The Rock. I thought.
Oh no, we are going to talk about The Rock.
Oh well, then go hurry up with your RDR too, because I'm gonna tell you right now.
I get it. I don't care about this shit though, dude.
I am
Because
currently
your fucking online shit is not RP. When you holler at me when you're doing RP.
all right. Well, what I'm hollering at you for, Jared, playa from the Himalayas. All right, is that a year ago, 365 days, I was at 92.8% completion for overall in-game story completion for Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yep.
So I have 7% left. No problem. 7%. I've done 92, no problem. I've been playing the game pretty consistently for the last 3 weeks. I am at 97.3% because there are billions of things to do in that game that I was not aware of. My God.
That's the point. You'll never finish it. RDR 3 is going to come out before you finish that game.
No. But what I will say is I have 100%ed a lot of Rockstar's games. Grand Theft Auto especially. The original Red Dead
but this
Redemption.
is the most detailed game that they've ever come out
This game is the most massive video game I have ever had the opportunity to play. Because there's a little checklist that says 100%. It's like boom, boom, boom. And there was a little block. And I was like, what is that? I was like, what is this little block that's missing? So I looked it up. I said, hey, what do I have to do? You know what I had to do, Jared? Motherfucker. I had to find 30 dinosaur bones. I had to catch 15 legendary fish.
First of all, I didn't even know there was dinosaur bones in the game.
That's what I thought. I was like, what is this little piece missing off? And they were like, I was like, maybe it's a little miscellaneous side quest. And I was like, side quest. 30 dinosaur bones took me 6.5 hours to find.
You're crazy.
Dude, getting to 100% completion in this game is not only my top priority, it also makes me realize that I have no life. It amazes me how much there is in this game that I didn't know there was. It's fucking crazy.
Londa, I was reading the end of your message and I was going to say something, but then I stopped myself because I don't want, never mind. Anyway, he said by the time RJ finishes RDR 2, GTA 9 will be out, already in development, and Obama's grandchild will probably be run for president.
You know, Londa, you might not be wrong, dude, because I thought, and I'm a smart guy when it comes to video games, I was like, 8% left in a game. It's only got to be a bunch of miscellaneous shit I haven't done. This miscellaneous shit is like a whole story mission.
Yeah, I didn't know there was dinosaur bones. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's 30 dinosaur bones. You have to catch 15 fists.
Ooh. You catch all the fists you want, sir.
First of all, I don't catch any. And shout out to Dr. Emmett Brown, by the way.
Don't change the subject.
I'm
you
not
here catching fists.
So I am finally on the last thing I need to do. And do you know what it is?
Catching fists?
Gay!
There are something called player challenges that consists of nine.
I got news for you. That means you're gay.
I am.
I haven't used that one in a while.
9 categories that consist of 10 challenges each, which is 90 challenges, and they are absurd. I have to win 5 games of poker in a row.
Poker's a big thing in there.
I have to win 3 games of 5-finger fillet in a row. I have to catch all 15 legendary fish again. And to make it even worse, I have to hunt more fucking animals.
Okay, that's fine. We're about to end anyway, Londa. He says 2:33 over there. You might fall asleep. But we're
but before we go,
we want to talk about The Rock before we
go. Big entertainment news. The Rock has returned to professional wrestling. With the WrestleMania 40 looming ever so closer, and I've got something super special for Jared planned in mind, is that we are seeing Dwayne Johnson, obviously known around the world as The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, whatever, make his return to the square circle. And he has returned as a villain.
Relax. He returned as who he should be.
And
the fucking best heel in fucking WWE history. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
And that is correct.
But Sean, don't come on here if I can talking no shit. I know you probably won't even see this anyway. But don't come in there my fucking comments talking no shit like you gargle your fucking own nuts, bitch. Fucking The Rock is the best heel of all time, and I'm glad he's back to that shit. You can even see in the crowd them motherfuckers smiling because they're like, it's like people our age, like, oh yes, this is what I've always wanted to see.
Because, and it's funny you say that, because we have, the wrestling world has been kind of, it's been flourishing, but it's been deprived of an excellent heel.
Exactly. Or just deprived of an excellent personality.
Yes, I agree with that as well. And so, you know, The Rock comes in, and if you're following wrestling, going in before the Royal Rumble a couple weeks ago, Cody Rhodes.
And before anybody talks shit, I didn't actually watch the show. I didn't watch SmackDown. I fucking saw the clips because WWE has a TikTok. So they post them up all the time.
And they'll do it too. But Cody Rhodes, the son of the late great Dusty Rhodes, is scheduled to wrestle Roman Reigns for his undisputed title here in Philadelphia in the next month and a half.
But Cody's story.
And yes. And then The Rock, now, before Cody Rhodes became kind of in the equation, years ago, around the time the pandemic unfortunately happened, The Rock has always been in the mix of like a big WrestleMania match because he is related to Roman Reigns. They're from the same family, the great wrestling family. I'm butchering it, the Anoya family. Anoya. I might be saying it wrong.
Probably saying it wrong. They're cousins.
Yeah, but the Samoan.
But to be honest, to be fair, everybody in fucking Hawaii are cousins.
Yeah, and basically the Samoan, one of the first families of wrestling, pretty much. And out of nowhere, The Rock comes out and says, "Hey, Roman Reigns, I'm going to wrestle you at WrestleMania." And the last couple years, everybody wanted it, but what's happened is that it hasn't happened. And Cody Rhodes has kind of encapsulated that level of popularity. Nobody's going to be ever as popular as The Rock or, God forbid, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And, I'm going to throw Hulk Hogan in there, whatever aside.
Quick question. Do you think Cody Rhodes rose to the top because there was a deal made behind the scenes for him to come back from the ACW?
I think, dude, that is probably the most wrestling question you're ever going to ask me. There's a lot that...
Because it only makes sense. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Exactly. So when you look at who his dad is and who his brother is.
Yeah, Dusty Rhodes.
His father is Dusty
and
Rhodes.
Goldust.
And Goldust. Okay, who is probably arguably the most bizarre character in wrestling.
We all know that.
The answer is yes. However, the reason I say the answer is yes is because time and time again, as a wrestling fan, and I'm not an overly critical wrestling fan, I can be, is that Cody Rhodes is a very talented wrestler.
No, I get that.
Yeah. But personality is what sells tickets.
No, I understand that. But
so
I'm saying, again, he left there, and he didn't leave there under the greatest of conditions. He was like, "Yo, we're gonna go start him and Jericho, right?"
Yeah,
they went and started that shit because they were not happy with how things were going over there. But then somewhere in the middle, he was like, "Well, fuck it, I still have this thing going. Maybe he's probably still making money off of that." He was like, "You know what? I'll come back if you fucking this, that, and the other thing."
Do you know what the great equalizer is between that happening?
What?
It's Vince McMahon.
Well,
yeah,
he's out of there.
And
so.
let me tell you something. Any long-term, especially somebody my age, and Sean will agree with this, as much as we might love Vince as a character in the world of wrestling.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
He was not a character, to be honest.
No.
Looking back on, if you think about it, watch, once all this shit finishes coming out, that was not a character, bro. He was living that life.
And maybe that's why we all ate it up the way we did. Because we could all...
Because it was real.
Yeah.
Again, that's we were just talking about this at the beginning. Full circle. It goes back to the beginning. It's like, if you're fucking bringing the right energy, people are going to gravitate toward that energy, and they're going to enjoy whatever it is more. And, I mean, that's not necessarily the greatest energy to put out into the world, because eventually... It'll come back on
and bite you in the ass.
And it may take it fucking 40, 50 years, but it's going to happen.
But I think what happened is that when people do leave the company, and we'll use, obviously, Cody Rhodes as the big example right now because he's going to be main eventing WrestleMania here in a month, is Vince McMahon. Because you got to remember, before Cody Rhodes left the WWE, he was a mid-card guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's
my point.
Yeah, dressing up like his brother.
Yep.
And there's a term in the internet wrestling
Even in
community.
ACW, he was still kind of dressing like his brother. I mean, he started wearing like the long, like glittery shit. But
yeah, no, and I think that's more so like homage to his brother and things of that nature. But I think what happened is that Triple H, who's now pretty much in control of a majority of things, was like, hey, you know what?
It's been like that for a while.
Cody is talented. Cody is the son of one of the most legendary wrestlers of all time.
Yep.
There is no reason we can't put him in the same category as everybody else.
Yeah.
Do I think he's the most charismatic guy in the world? No.
Let
By
me ask you something.
Yeah.
This is just me purely. Again, this is
peer review. That's what this show is.
Purely outside casual fan. I don't even know if I'm a casual fan at this point. I don't think Seth Rollins is like the most gravitational character either.
I personally believe Seth Rollins, and we might not be at that.
Wait, am I
point
thinking
in-
about that right?
Yeah, you're thinking. You talking about the guy that's married to Becky Lynch, the redhead.
I don't know who fucking he's married to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that
he
he
was
dresses
talking shit the other
outlandishly.
night. He was talking shit the other night.
Was he talking to Cody Rhodes was it on Monday? If you remember,
I don't fucking remember.
there's a lot of difference. But I will say this.
Oh no, yeah, it is Seth Rollins because he was part of the Shield, and also Roman Reigns was part of the Shield.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it was Seth Rollins. Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you how I feel about Seth
Relax.
Rollins.
We're about to end. This guy.
Well, here.
Oh my god.
Well, it's been a while since I've had.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
That's why I also woke up like, I was like, what the fuck?
Exactly. Trust me, I'm telling you, bro. As a person who has not been drinking as much, when you do drink, that shit will fucking hit you harder than a truck.
I know, brother. I know. My point is, the way I feel about Seth Rollins, and this might upset a couple people. Seth Rollins is the modern day Shawn Michaels.
The modern day Shawn Michaels. Now you're gonna see. No.
Yeah. And
I like Shawn Michaels.
I like Shawn. Do you know why?
Oh
I say
yeah,
that?
I can see that, but
I say that because he is the type of person, and you can maybe even throw The Undertaker or Kane and maybe a good handful of other real big names. He is the type of wrestler who does not need a world championship to be relevant.
have a good night, Londa.
Londa, thank you, brother. We'll see you next week. Get some rest, brother. He does not need a world championship to be relevant. His matches are always excellent from a wrestling perspective. And his just overall demeanor and character, recently the Messiah, Seth freaking Rollins.
All right, I don't need backstory.
Well, I'm just saying, I think he's a modern-day Shawn Michaels.
Okay,
and I know that's a
cool.
stretch, but that's
I just
how
don't
I feel.
I don't know. I haven't watched it enough to even know one way or the other. I'm glad that fucking the heel Rock is back.
We like to call him the
I know
Hollywood Rock.
I didn't want to call it what
Hollywood.
Everybody else is calling him.
It's so good because he took that vest he was wearing last night and he made it a combination.
It was the old Versace shit.
I saw it and I was like,
it was beautiful.
Yes, I was like,
it was fucking beautiful.
And you know what's crazy? None of this was planned. The only reason this is happening is because 2 weeks ago, The Rock came out on SmackDown and said, "Hey, Roman Reigns, I'm going to wrestle you." And everybody's like, "You know what, dude? We wanted you to wrestle this guy 3 years ago.
Yeah, now
you can't come in here from Hollywood. No, this guy's earned it, so you can take a back seat."
Oh, no, he's doing what he did.
And so they were like, what do we do? And they were like, well, let's just piss everybody off some more and let's make The Rock evil.
Hey, trust me, it's gonna be perfect. It's not gonna piss anybody off because the real Rock fans, are gonna.
I loved every moment of it, dude.
Yeah, real Rock fans are gonna be like, yes.
If anybody loves The Rock,
if you look at the clip from him doing that shit, he was calling all them motherfuckers fat
inbreds. Yeah.
And
well,
like
The Rock says this.
All the people down front were just like. Like little kids.
Because he knows, what is it, hook, line, and sinker, baby. He knows.
Yeah,
because I think any good wrestler is also a fan.
And I guarantee you he missed it. And this time around, he doesn't have to be on the road for fucking 200 some days a year, 300 some days a year. He can still do his movie shit.
Yeah.
I worry that he's gonna, after WrestleMania, he's gonna tail off and he's gonna go back into obscurity again. As far as wrestling goes.
Yeah. The way they've miraculously salvaged this, and that's why I think I give Triple H
by giving him a seat at the table.
Well, no, just talking about, dude, because years ago they tried to do the same thing with Batista when Daniel Bryan was really hot. It's like, hey, because when you market WrestleMania, you got to remember
Batista has never been one to. For me, in my eyes, I don't think wrestling was ever his intention to finish.
No, and it wasn't. And you could tell he had a very hot streak.
Even now, he was like, I don't want to do Mark. I know he doesn't watch this show anyway, but because it's one of his favorite heroes. I just learned why he started collecting lunchboxes, by the way.
Yeah.
Our buddy collects lunchboxes. And I just figured out recently by watching an interview of Batista why our buddy collects lunchboxes because Batista collects lunchboxes.
No, I mean,
and I was like, okay, you're not him. Relax. Bro.
Yeah, I mean, I will say there's nothing like a good lunchbox. If that's a thing anymore, our lunchbox is really a
to collectors. Yeah.
It's a collectors. Yeah, but to wrap the show up.
Thank you.
With what's happening in wrestling right now was not supposed to happen, but I'm glad it did happen. And so I'm going to be the first person here to tell you that here in the next 6 weeks, me and Sean will be going up north to Philadelphia for WrestleMania weekend, and we will be streaming live.
How are you going to fucking live stream that?
For the Mad Scientist Lab podcast.
How are you going to live stream that?
Don't you worry, Jared. I've got it all figured out.
You got a fucking hotspot or something?
I am going to make sure that whatever I do in the several days that I'm gone is going to be some of the best goddamn shit this show has ever seen. So the Mad Scientist Lab is going to WrestleMania. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to episode 221 of the Mad Scientist Lab podcast. As always, it is I, RJ the Pizza Guy. As long as Jared, the visual mad scientist, and catch us anywhere you get your podcasts. That is Apple Music, Spotify, all that good stuff. Monday on YouTube for the visual. And we will see you guys. Fuck Jared and fuck you. We will see you guys next week. And as always, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and be safe. That might be the best sound bit ever, dude. It really
so hard you won't see nothing. Ever, 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 ever.
Audio skulls all day.
The Merit Scientist Lab. The Merit Scientist Lab. The Merit Scientist Lab. Merit Scientist Lab.
You can't have an opinion on something that you haven't even tried.
Exactly.
The Merit Scientist